Hey everyone, and welcome to another video on the Blade Eclipse 360 Coast Guard Edition. So, if you remember from my unboxing video, I said, yep, gonna get this manual out here and I'm gonna take a look at everything it takes to program this helicopter into my NX8. Well, it didn't take me long to realize that there's a trick to this helicopter that I wanted to share with you because I learned it in the process here of setting this up. Because let's be honest, setting up a helicopter from scratch is horrendously intimidating. I did it with my Blade 230S. Did the whole setup right from scratch, went through the whole manual, set up every menu, every switch, every possible thing. And wow, that was a lot of work. And I says, well, you know what? I'm just going to sit down with the manual. I'm going to sit down with my NX8 here, and I am going to do all the programming. Well, I didn't have to get very far in the manual, only to page 4 before I realized that this has one of these new smart transmitter files. So how the smart transmitter file works is that when you go to buying the aircraft, either helicopter or airplane, for the very first time, it says, hey, wait a minute, I have detected a file on that receiver that can program the transmitter. And so you go through some steps here, and I'll talk about them here in just a minute. But it takes the entire factory program, everything that's in the manual, and it dumps it straight onto your transmitter. Super easy, only takes a few minutes, and the whole thing is done. But there's a few things about that. So if you remember me saying I have an NX8, well, the newer ones are NX8 Plus. However, if you've done all your updates to this, you'll know that you basically have a Plus radio now. And you also need to make sure that you have the latest and greatest update. When I first tried to do this smart transmitter file, continually failed over and over and over again. Well, I realized that I had an file loaded on here. So I went to the Spektrum website, downloaded the latest update, loaded it onto the transmitter, and started the process over again, and it worked flawlessly. Now the helicopter is fully programmed and ready to go, and it only took a few minutes. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit on how to do that setup. So let's make a couple assumptions first. One, you have a Plus radio, an NX8 Plus, or any of the other models. You have the latest update on the transmitter. So everything is updated, everything's modern. You're not trying to figure out how to do this on an old, NX5E or some vintage radio, right? You're doing it all on new modern stuff, and everything is up to date. So with that, so we're going to put that over here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the rotor blades off because, well, let's be honest, these can spin very fast, and I would hate to find out that I had a switch or something set on here, because there are different flight modes, and those different flight modes have different head speeds, and there's holds, and there's all sorts of other stuff going on this helicopter that if you have it set up wrong, or you have the setup right, of course, because it's programmed in, but you had a switch in the wrong spot, I don't want to have to find that out with these rotor blades spinning. I had a very cheap, terrible helicopter when I first started out in RC, and I made the mistake of connecting the battery and not realizing that I had the throttle bumped up, and it instantly took off, crashed into the ceiling. It marked up the ceiling of the house here, and then came crashing down on top of me. Luckily, I was not hurt. It didn't hit me at all. I don't know how, but I learned my lesson that when working on helicopters, you know what? Best to take the rotor blades off. It's the same for a fixed wing propeller aircraft as well. I don't do it nearly as much as I should, mostly because I'm working, be away from the propeller blades. But in a helicopter, not as easy to do. So let's be safe here, and let's take the blades off. Next step, you're going to want to get a battery out. I have here a 2200 3S Spektrum Smart Pack. It's ready to go here, so I have that at the ready. You're going to want to take your canopy off. And what I find easier is you just kind of put your finger inside the NACA duct here and just kind of do a little bit of lift up and pull out. So now that is free. So now we have the innards of the helicopter kind of free to access here. We have our battery, we have our transmitter. So what we're going to end up doing here, and like I've already done it once, I'm not going to go through and actually really do it again here in the video because it is already set up. You're going to want to go through and connect your you can connect your battery here, but I think before that I'm going to go through and do one kind of another step prior to that. Is you turn on the transmitter here, you're going to go in and you want to create a new model. Okay, If you happen to leave this on an old model, like one of your favorite airplanes or helicopters, it's going to overwrite that data. So you go into your transmitter, you're going to scroll down into add new model. And I picked a little helicopter icon. I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but I knew I was making a helicopter. So you just add a new model, called it a helicopter, and then I go into the bind menu on that. So I have the transmitter ready to go. It's looking for a new model. It's in bind mode. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to connect and plug in my battery here. And when it does that, you're going to hear it starting to go through its checks as it powers up. The lights are going to come on, of course. And then located right here on the side of the receiver is a tiny little button. It's got the little Spektrum bar graph on it there. And what you want to do is you just want to press and hold that just for a few seconds. You're going to see a bright blinking orange light. That means that the receiver is now in bind mode. You have your transmitter in bind mode. And then I just go up to the top here, hold my bind button down. And from that standpoint, it's going to act very normal, right? It's going to go through and it's going to tell you that, the bind's complete. It's done all of its things. It's going to make a little move on the helicopter here. You're going to hear the servos do their dance. And that's very normal for anytime you bind an aircraft. This is where it's going to get different. There's going to be a menu that pops up here on your transmitter that's going to tell you smart transmitter file that's available. You can either skip it or load it. You can skip it if you want to do all your own programming yourself, or you don't like how the factory programming is, or whatever other reason you have, you can skip that. However, if you want to take advantage of the factory programming that's built into this helicopter, hit the load button. And then it's going to ask you, hey, I'm going to overwrite whatever you have that's in this file, right? Well, that's not a problem. We created a brand new model, so there's nothing to lose here, right? This is why I said better make sure you create a new model first. You don't want to overwrite the data in your other file that you happen to have open because you just got back from the flying field and you fly in your favorite airplane and then you blow away that entire program. So create a new one. Then you're going to hit load on the smart transmitter file, and then you're going to hit confirm when it gives you the warning message that it's going to overwrite. From there, you just set the transmitter down and you just sit here and you watch. It only takes a few moments and it's going to run through everything and it's going to do the complete setup on the helicopter. And once that's done, the bind is complete. The transmitter is now set up. Everything is programmed. It also does your voice commands as well. There is a really cool thing that's done in the latest update. The transmitter or the manual here says that there's no timer enabled on the transmitter for the smart transmitter file. But when I loaded this one up, there was a timer on there. That's been a common complaint. I did it on a couple other planes and I'm like, where's my timer? I live by my timer. Yes, I know with smart batteries and ESCs and the rest of the stuff, it will warn you when the battery's getting low. I don't like to fly that way. I like to kind of use that timer and adjust it a little bit and use the voltage alarm as kind of my last emergency call, right? I try to land with probably about 40% battery remaining. That way I got plenty of time to go around. And I don't want to find out like in the middle of a climb out or some sort of a maneuver when I'm the furthest away from landing that my battery is needing to be replaced. So I set a timer first. I adjust my timer based on my flying style, and I use the voltage alarm through the smart telemetry as my emergency backup. So this has a 5-minute program on the radio to begin with. I'll start with that and then make my adjustments. That way too, I can kind of get an idea too, like when it's at the countdown for like a 2-minute mark or a 1-minute mark. Well, a helicopter, I'm going to keep it in pretty close anyway. At the 1-minute mark, I'm going to start making sure I'm bringing it back in. I'm getting it nose pointed away from me. I'm going to pick my landing spot out here. I'm going to start setting up for a landing, knowing I still have another full minute of time left on that battery before I really need to get this aircraft on the ground. It just takes a little bit of stress off that I can get the airplane or helicopter exactly where I want it, set it down with time to spare. And if something were not to go right, I have plenty of juice still to go around and clear out. For instance, if I'm sharing the field with others, and let's say I have a guy coming in for a landing with one of his aircraft, and I have a helicopter out, and I'm going to land on the runway, I can say, you know what, I got an extra minute or so left on the battery here. I'm just going to pull up, move out of the way, let him land and recover his aircraft, and then I can go ahead and land myself. So I like having the timer, and I like having the voice call out as every minute passes. It just helps me kind of plan my flight a little bit more accordingly. So yeah, that's it for the setup. I was afraid this video was going to be, an hour long with me going through the menus here that's in the manual, but it turns out smart transmitter file super easy. I have spent way more time talking about how to do it than actually do it. So just to recap here, make sure your transmitter has got the latest firmware, latest updates and everything to it. Have yourself a 2200 3S pack ready to go. Take your blades off. Go ahead and start a new model in your transmitter. So you're going to start with a brand new from scratch model, nothing else loaded in there. You're going to make sure that's your active model. Plug in your battery. Press and hold the bind switch on the receiver. Just it only takes maybe a second or two of holding it. You're going to get the orange blinky light. Go through the bind process just as you normally would for any aircraft. Then it's going to ask you about the smart transmitter file. You're going to say, yes, load that file. And then it's going to say, are you sure? Because it's going to overwrite everything. You hit confirm. And that's all there is. Super easy to do. This has made helicopter programming so much better. I don't use it that much in aircraft, mostly because a lot of my airplanes are just slight variations of another airplane that I currently fly. So I don't have to really take advantage of that smart transmitter file because I also have the airplane set up exactly how I want it, and they're a little different from the factory. On the helicopters, I follow exactly what the manual says because these things to me are very, very complicated and I don't want to screw it up. So I stick with whatever the factory programming is for a helicopter, and that's what I have loaded in here. So next step for me is to go ahead and get the rotor blades back on and start getting this thing pre-flighted and ready to go here. So that's it for this video. If you guys got any questions at all on the Coast Guard Edition Eclipse 360, by all means, just let me know in the comments. I will do my very best to answer them. I'm not an expert on helicopters by any means, but always here to help, and I can always try to maybe point you in the right direction of someone else who can help. So that's it for today's video on how to set up the Blade 360 Eclipse Coast Guard Edition.